I don't remember the last time it's took me an hour to get up to record my thoughts on an anime episode, but Sonny Boy just did it with what normally would be an anime ending, yet we still have more episodes left to come. It was a bit of a mind trip. It was incredibly creative. The director's cut and the idea of clipping worlds together to create a new one with the film, and it was pretty much a roll of the dice whether they would become the originals or if they would be trapped. The principal apparently being God, Hoshi literally being Noah and building Noah's Ark, and to see the confirmation that the teacher is without a doubt, unless this episode was throwing us a curveball, isn't the real deal. Apparently teachers shouldn't be there. There's only two things that should have been transported: the school and the students. One of the students we get introduced to should have been younger than the characters we see. They entered the school year as they were graduating, yet because of time manipulation, they've been in this world for 5,000 years, so their chance to go home is gone, but because they were there for 8 months, there was still a chance. Almost as if they haven't been born yet, right? The length of how long someone's pregnant for, so as long as they don't reach that time limit, there's a chance to be reborn back in their world, so to speak. And you would say it's over at this point, but how could it be, right? I mean, they paint this as an ending, but there's more to come, seemingly. And I have absolutely no idea where we go from here. I don't think anyone's known where we were going from here since the show started. You can make your ideas, you can make your predictions, but most likely, while it's probably reasonable, they're not going to go for yours and they're going to do something different. And the idea of the director's cut is genius, because there's been some religious symbolism and there's been different ideas I've seen before, but the idea that apparently this equipment, for some time, it looks interesting, but unless our boy Nagra is there, not much happens. It's all from his point of view. So the idea of taking elements we've known of, the monkeys, and adding it to a scene where characters are now interacting with it, creating another this world, taking a this world with this world to make a new this world. It's so fascinating, and to see certain characters apparently dead in the world, and how they're dealing with that. And, seriously, I think the last 6 or so minutes of this episode is the most fascinating Sonny Boy content to date, and the past couple of episodes have been very, very impressive, even if, it's hard to wrap your brain around exactly what's happening. But seriously, the last 6 minutes of this episode, and watching them, because it was building up they were going to escape, and my thought was, should they escape, there's gonna be something weird going on with their normal reality that will be the last obstacle that they have to deal with. Or maybe they go back to the reality, but it really does end, and the warning from Hoshi turns out to be true. They didn't want to go back there, so maybe they have to try to find a way to go back to a different this world, right? But the idea that they were pretty much just, it was a roll of the dice what would happen truly, and God didn't favor them that time. So they were just the copies. And so basically, the copies that they made ended up being granted the real version status, and they can live on their life as they interact with them but can't do anything. It's interesting because you can make an argument, even if our characters here, right, ended up becoming the main characters of that film and were able to live out their days, the characters in the film would have then been the copies, right? So no matter what, there's a version of reality where they succeed or fail, so you could probably make an argument it doesn't much matter. It's just because from our perspective, the set of characters we've been following are our main characters, so it feels like a failure, even if different worlds probably continue on in a normal way. Where do you go from here? Honestly, probably one more attempt to try to escape, maybe fight off God, who turns out to be the principal, but is there really a chance? Probably not. I mean, we're building up to them really wanting to destroy our boy, because from their point of view, he's the reason everything's going wrong, and right now it seems like characters who seem to like the most evil, Hoshi, star under the eye, talking to voices apparently in his head, felt like a bad guy, now seems more like they're on his side, so where do you go from here? It was a visual trip. There's this one shot when they're adjusting the projector and it all goes blurry. The creativity of these worlds just writes themselves, But even though you could probably create multiple cool ideas on your own, the idea of like the blurriness, the perspective in the film room, just the idea that Nagara's perspective is literally the camera's perspective, like there's so many cool bells and whistles, and Sonny Boy remains to be the weirdest trip I've seen all year. I mean, I have absolutely no idea what people are gonna say about this episode, because really, no one knows what they're gonna say about Sonny Boy until they watch Sonny Boy, right? But if someone can make a prediction of where the endgame of this show is going to go, and by the time we reach it, if I can think of a comment or two that accurately predicted it, I swear to God, that's gonna be the wildest shit ever, because I saw no one talking about director's cuts, and that kind of goes to show how cool of a production this is, because I think many of us probably had that skeptic in us, saying like, yeah, it's original, but endings and midway points are hard to nail because they just rely on the same things we've seen. But this really feels original. The only worry I might have is that now that what could have been an ending isn't the ending, are they able to make the same wondrous factor at the end? Are they gonna go hopeful? Are they gonna go depressing? Because had this been the last episode, it would have been a kind of depressing episode, a depressing ending, all things considered. I have absolutely no idea. Sonny Boy, I have no idea how I could sell it to people who have never seen it. Because all I could say is that visually it's distinct, and you have absolutely no idea where the story wants to go. But I truly think it is one of this year's most intriguing anime, and my brain is just melting. My brain is in awe of the probability ending here. The Noah's Ark, the teacher, the principal. Wow. I mean, I think it was last week I was also talking about how, we haven't heard too much music in this series, but when it is there, like when they were going underwater, it just adds so much to it. And when they had that song playing as the film was going at the end, it really emotionally touched me. It really got this feeling of, this is what you see, this is what you hear when a show is tying it up, the show's over, right? You get that emotional closure, and it's not over. This show, I don't know what we did to deserve this type of creativity, and maybe this is too much for some people, and I get it, but for me, this is the type of originality I yearn to see in the anime medium, and I hope that this won't be a one-and-done thing for Madhouse. I need more ideas like this coming from them, because this shit is gold. I can't analyze any more than that. My brain is melting from being so awestruck, and I need next week's episode. I really wish I had waited to watch this episode in some ways, because I'm usually not the person who's saying, I wish we had next week's episode. I can't wait for more. I'm excited, but I can usually hold out. I'm gonna have to rewatch this episode quite a few times to tie me over before we get episode 7, because hot damn, I need more. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, theories, if you have any down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, take care and have a good one.